Hilchas Eidus yesh bechlolon shmeina mitzvahs. Sholish mitzvahs aseh, v'chomish mitzvahs leis aseh, v'zeu proton. Aleph, lehoid bebezen lemishi yedeh Eidus. If a person knows Eidus, there's a mitzvah aseh to go ahead and be made bebezen. Beis, lidreish v'lachker ha'edim, Gimel Shalayera Ha'ed Bedin Zeh Shahed Allah Bedin Nefashis. The special din, if someone said Eidus about din Nefashis, he's not allowed to say not l'schus, not l'cheva in this din Torah. Hey, Shalayokum Dover Be'edus Echad. You shouldn't paskin based on an Eid Echad. Hey, Shalayoid Balavera. Vov Shalayoid Koriv. Zayin Shalayoid B'Sheker. And Ches Lasis Leid Zemim Kasher Zomam. You have to understand that l'chura there's Hilchas Sanhedrin and Hilchas Eidus. Parshas Hilchas Sanhedrin are the dinim of Sanhedrin, and Hilchas Eidus are the dinim on the Eidus, the dinim of the Eidus. So l'moshel, there's a din. The first mitzvah lahoyed bebezen mishul yidei Eidus. That's a din on the Eid. The Eid has to be made bebezen. Al derech zeh there's a din shalei lahoyed b'sheker. An Eid is not allowed to be made b'sheker. But l'chura halacha beis l'moshel lidrish v'lachkar eidim is psadin in the eidim. That's l'chura a din in Sanhedrin. Sanhedrin has a chiyuv lidrish v'lachkar eidim. So Vaisis Hilchas Eidus means any dinim which are related to the Eidus. Lav dafka the dinim that's on the Eidus. So din on bezin which are related to the Eidus. Now derech zeh l'moshel halacha dalid liyokum dover a mitzvah dalid liyokum dover be'edus echad. Again, it's a din on bezin. Bezin has to paskin. Just like we learned before that Moshe Bezin shouldn't be minus someone that was an onus, lanayra lisasa dover. So al derazel yakum dover al yidei eidachot. It's not a din in the Eidus. It's a din in Bezin. Bezin shouldn't paskin based on the eidachot. And al derazel lechur halacha ches lasis leid zem kasher zomim. The Rambam in Hilchas Sanhedrin mentions all the ancient of Misa, the ancient of Malchus. So over here also, l'chura, there's another einish, an einish of lasis leid zem kasher zomim. So the Rambam is putting it in Hilchas Eidus. I'm just saying, l'chura, you have to understand. Side this din of lidish v'lachar eidim, which is l'chura a din in Hilchas Bezdin, al derazeh shloyokum dover be'edus echad, and al derazeh lasis leid zem kasher zomim. Why does that belong in Hilchas Eidus and not in Hilchas Sanhedrin? Also, you have to understand, the Rambam says, halacha hey shliyoid balavera shliyoid korev. In other words, there's an isser of someone that knows that he's a balavera to become an eid, or there's an isser of someone that knows he's a korev to become an eid. The pashtus advarim is that Bezdin can't paskin knows an eid which is a korev or a balavera is not a kosher eid. So there's an isser for an eid to say sheker. Is there an isser for a korev to be an eid? I mean, we learned before B'Neger Shvuah that the Rambam said that if someone's taining that he's apostle of Shvuah, nevertheless he could swear, because we're saying the fact that you're apostle doesn't mean you can't swear. You could swear. Normally, if we know you're apostle, we wouldn't accept your Shvuah. But the fact that you're apostle doesn't make you apostle of Shvuah. Mashenkin Eidus, someone that's an apostle, someone that's a balavera, is apostle Eidus. And later on, we find out he was a balavera, so Mafrei he was apostle Eidus. Comes out he was apostle Eidus. So the advice is there's a isser for someone that's a balavera to say Haggadah Eidus. That's what it comes out l'chura from the way the Rambam is setting it up in this din in Hilchas Eidus. I'll call Halacha Aleph. Ha'eid mitzuva lohoid bebezin b'chol eidus sheyedeh. There's a chiyuv for an eid to say eidus bebezin b'chol eidus sheyedeh bein be'eidus sheyechayiv b'chaveri say eidus sheyechayiv b'chaveri. In other words, someone is calling you and saying, I want you to say eidus to cause someone else to be chayiv. Or bein be'eidus sheyezakel bo, or fakert, the person is being suspected of something and he's calling someone to be an aid in order to help him to be mezakim. When is there a chiyuv? When is there a mitzvah lahoyed? That's only sheyitve'enu lahoyed b'dinim mamlis. As far as dinim mamlis is concerned, it's only if the person that needs the eidus was tiveya this aid, this potential aid. Shenamar v'u'eid eiroi yoda im liyaged v'nasa eidus. So that pasuk is talking about someone that was a nishbar shvos eidus. They claimed that he didn't know eidus, and maybe he has to bring an osham. But I'll call upon him. That's the din that's saying v'hu'eid v'eiroi yodim liyaged v'nasa v'nasa that there was a chiyuv for him to say eidus. B'kitzur. So by dinim mamlis, if the person was tivei you to say eidus, person has a chiyuv, a mitzvah sesim and atera, to come and say eidus. Now hoya ha'eid chacham gadol, v'hoya bezin pachis mimenu b'chacham. In other words, he's being asked to come and say Eidus. He's a Chacham Gadol. He's coming to say Eidus in a bezin which is pachis mimena b'chachma. Is hail ve'in kvede sheyelech lifneim. It's not covered for him to go because he's a Chacham Gadol and they're lower than him. Is asay shall cover teira odif. So even though there's an essa to say Eidus, but the essa of covered teira is a greater essa, and therefore v'yesh l'liman he could hold himself back. There's no chiyuv for him to go to a lesser bezin because that'll be a meniah in covered teira. Now, b'medvar mamurim that we say that if it's a lesser bezin, Mamela was not covered atera, he's holding himself back from going. That's talking about Eidus moment. Eidus moment, he's being asked to go, and nevertheless we say that since lepeil they're lesser than him, so it wouldn't be covered for him, so therefore he doesn't have to go. Avol be'edus shemafrish b'men iser. In other words, there's an Eidus mafrish b'men iser. He knows that there's an iser going on. He knows that, let's say, an isha was zinsom, and Mamela she's asura lebaila, or a different iser. He knows that something is happening, and Mamela he wants to come and the question is to say Eidus and notify that this is a iser. Or v'chein be'edus nefashis. He knows about an Eidus nefashis. No one's money from Eidus nefashis. You don't have to be month. The Eidus nefashis a makis. So then is always hilachomei. Then he has to go ahead and be made, even if we're talking about a bezin which is not in the same lower than his madrega. Why? Because ein chachma l'neged Hashem. Kol makom she'eshchil Hashem is ein mashgichin al kavod harav, and lepeil, if lepeil there will be Eidus that mafish b'mene isur, Eidus b'neged din nefashis and malchus. So if for that not to be corrected would go into the gather of chil Hashem, vaistuis. In other words, a person should do an isur or al derech zeh that a person that's chai b'din nefashis or other malchus, so for him not to get this malchus, not nefashis, would go into a gather of chil Hashem. So that would go into the gather of ein chachma neged Hashem, kol makom sheyesh chil Hashem. So then is a mashgichin al kavod harav. So b'kitzur, when we're talking about there's a chiv of din imamnis. By din imamnis is only when you're tiveya. When you get din in the fashis, the Rambam doesn't write over here clearly, but the pashas advarim is by din in the fashis and al derech by din in malchus. There's no din of tiveya. Mishnah Lamela brings from the Rosh that the reason is because over there is the pasuk uviyarta haram mikirbecha. So Mamela there's a chiv on a person to see to it that justice is done. It's adu uviyarta haram mikirbecha. And by B'negeh, this chiv of go, so B'negeh the chiv of mammon is only if you're tiveya and only if it's not a lesser bezin than this chacham. Masha'inkim B'negeh other types say l'bnei me'isur and al derech adin nefashis and in malchus you don't need a tiveya. And also there's a chiyuv to go even to a lesser bezin because ein chachma ve'ein tvuna l'neged Hashem. Halacha Gimel. Kohen Gadol eini chayev l'hoid ele Eidus shehi lemelech Yisrael bulvat. The chiyuv of a Kohen Gadol to say Eidus is only for a melech Yisrael, and also where does he go? Hoylech lebezin hagadol umeid bo. He doesn't go to a regular bezin. He goes to a bezin hagadol. Avol b'shar ha'idiyus poter. But as far as other Eidus is concerned, there's no chiyuv for a Kohen Gadol to go and say Eidus. A Kohen Gadol only has to say Eidus on behalf of a melech, and also he says the Eidus in Bezin HaGadol. Now the din is a Kohen Gadol himself. You only dan a Kohen Gadol din in nefashis in Bezin HaGadol. And the other dinim you could be dan not in Bezin HaGadol. Masha'inkin a Kohen Gadol there's only a din you have to be dan only in Bezin HaGadol. But again, Melech doesn't really say, and Rambam doesn't say that it has to be dafka in Bezin HaGadol. B'chlal, Malchi Beis David is b'chlal, you don't dan. Malchi Yisrael, you are dan. I'm fakir. Malchi Yisrael, you're not dan. Malchi Beis David, you are dan. The Rambam doesn't really say that you are dan Malchi Yisrael only in Malchi Beis David, only in Bezin HaGadol. The Lechem Mishnah says over here that since we learn now the whole idea that a Kohen Gadol is dafka Bezin HaGadol, when the pasuk is Hadavar HaGadol Yaviu Eilecha, so mele if the Kohen Gadol is in Bezin HaGadol, so who adin a melech Malchi Beis David, which you're dan, also is in Bezin HaGadol. The question is that's only l'chur about the Kohen Gadol is only b'negei din nefashis, not b'negei other dinim. I'll call upon it. It could be that the pshat is pasha that a Kohen Gadol is going to say Eidus. But his Eidus, he goes to the Bezin HaGadol. He doesn't have to go to a different Bezin. It's not because a melech he could only be done at Bezin HaGadol. The chiyuv a Kohen Gadol to go say Eidus, he's going to say Eidus in the Choshev Bezin. Kohen Gadol will only say Eidus in Bezin HaGadol. Kohen Gadol is doch in the Mikdash all the time. So in other words, over there it finds itself the Bezin HaGadol. He has to go travel to the Bezin HaGadol. The Kohen Gadol is there. The pastors he's in Mokim HaMikdash. So the din is that Kohen Gadol Bichlal doesn't have to say Eidus. He only says Eidus for a melech. And when he says Eidus on behalf of a melech, he only says it the Beis Nagadol. That would be the pashtus. Halacha Dalet. Mitzvahs asay lidrish ha'edim v'lach kereisam u'laharbis b'sha'alosam u'medaktikim aleim u'masiyim esem me'inyan. So there's two dinim over it. The first thing is you have to be lidrish ha'edim v'lach kereisam. We'll see the difference between drisha and chkira. Chkira is to find out the time and the place where it happened. Drisha is to find out the details of how it happened. Like we'll soon see the murder weapon or things, the details of how it happened. So mitzvahs say lidrish edim v'lach kereisam. That's number one, and also laharbis b'shal losam, to ask him a lot of questions. Umedaktikan aleim, you ask him all kinds of details. You bring them from one Indian to another Indian. So in other words, if they have like a rehearsed lie, they should like forget this rehearsed lie. There's Masiyan Esan mi'inyan le'inyan be'es ha'shayla kadeshi yishteku, that they should remain quiet and not know what to answer. Or they should pull back if it's not really true what they're saying. In other words, by the fact that they're asking many questions like this, they have a rehearsed, so to speak, lie. Mashenkin, if you start asking many questions, they get confused and they reach a point where they're not really sure. They don't remember like the Seder Advar. Shenema v'derashta v'chakarta v'sha'alta heitev, and there's a few psukim where it says v'sha'alta, and we have a limud that's the Sheva Chakiris, which because of the various psukim that are say they put them together. Memela, we learn out the din of how many Chakiris. That's the Shenema v'derashta v'chakarta v'sha'alta heitev. That's so. B'kitzur, you're supposed to make drishas, and you're supposed to make chakiris, and you're supposed to ask him any questions. Then he says, "Utzrichin hadayonim lihizor be'es chakiris edim," because shema mitoichan yilmudu l'shakak. Sometimes come out fakert that through the dayonim, the mishnahs have marba lachkeir ha'edim, and you should be zoru because shema mitoichan yilmudu l'shakak. So you have to be careful to make sure that from the questions you ask, he shouldn't learn how to lie. That's this din. So you have to be choiker and doirish the edim and ask them many questions. Now the Ram continues, b'sheva chakiris beit kinus edim. You ask them 7 questions. What's the 7 questions? Be'ezeh shavua, which means which shmita, which number shmita from B'rias Eilam, and be'ezeh shana, which year of the shmita, and be'ezeh chodesh, which month, and be'kama b'chodesh, and then be'ezeh yoim mimei haShabbos, which day of the week, and then ubekam shoyz bayem ube'ezeh mokim. So you have to ask him these 7 questions. Machamol be'ezeh shavua, be'ezeh shana, be'ezeh chedesh, bekam b'chedesh, be'ezeh yom me'ashabbos, kam shoyz bayem ube'ezeh mokim. These are the 7 basic questions. Now, filo omar hayem yaharge, hayem sharge, so l'chura today or yesterday. You have to, so he knows exactly what day it is. So nevertheless, sheilin loy be'ezeh shavua, be'ezeh shana, be'ezeh chedesh. Now the question is, why do you ask him these questions? That's so clear. What happens if they make a mistake? Notice they say it happened today, but they don't know. They don't know which Shemitah it is. They don't know what year it is. They don't know all these pratis things. But they're saying it happened today. So would that invalidate the Eidus or not? That is a discussion about it in the Mefarshim. And then he says, "Umiklala chakiris yeser al sheva shoyz bakel." Besides these chakiris, which are the 7 chakiris, which first of all is when it happened, and also where it happened. When it happened, there's 6 questions, and where it happened is another question. There's another question. She'im hi'idol of she'ovid avodah zarah, is she'en lehem isma ovid. What kind of avodah zarah was he avid? And also beis aveda ovid. What kind of aveda did he do? Because sometimes lepel, it could be not a real avodah zarah, or also it could be not a real aveda. Hi'idu shechilas haShabbos is also she'en leise eze malacha asa. Which malacha did he do? And vehechasa, how did he do that malacha? Again, it could be in an ephod that's not really a chiyuv, maybe it's kalachiyah. Hi'idu she'achal b'yom ha'kippurim she'en leise eze meichel achal, and also the kama achal. Or she'harigas ha'nefesh is she'en leise bameh hargei. How did he kill him? V'chein kol kiyetz b'zeh. Is harehu miklal chkiris. So part of the chkiris is to know, because when we're dealing with avodah zarah and Shabbos, and al derech zeh b'negei ochel b'yom ha'kippurim, so the Rambam is saying also more details. He has to know ma ovad ve'ech ovad, what a malacha did he do, and how did he do the malacha, And Benegay eating, what did he eat and how much of it did he eat? That's part of the chakiras that you have to ask by these things. Now it's interesting that the Rambam doesn't say you have to say who he killed. And al derech zeh, if a person was Baal Erva, he doesn't have to say who the Erva was. Be'emes, there's a din that if by Negeh, if a person says plainly Rivani, so the din is Palgina Dibura. So Ladies Shainim learn Palgina Dibura means we only accept the plainly Rava, but we don't accept the plainly the Rivani L'Ritzeni. It's Kilo plainly Rava. It doesn't say who he was Rava. Now there is a plainly Baal Ishti. If you say Palgina Dibura, so the pshar is you say plainly Baal Ishasish, but it wasn't Ishti. The fact that it was Ishti, we're not accepting. That would be the gather of Palgina Dibura. So in that, the Shainim already on Medayik. So we see over there that even though Lepel, he didn't say who. So in other words, when a person is plainly Baal Ishti, so we say who va'acher mistarfel lahar gei avalei lahar go. I lachura, who was he Baal? So we say no, he was Baal Ishasish. Grade he added that it was Ishti, and that prat we're not accepting, but we're still accepting that he was Baal Ishasish, even though we don't know who the Ishasish is. And vice versa also, but again, if someone says plainly Haragas on Nefesh, we don't have to know who the Nefesh was. You have to know Bameh Harge. So you have to know Bameh Harge, but you don't have to know Mi Harag. And al derech zeh, but again, in Zor you have to know what was he Avid, with who was he Avid, but again, Harge, and al derech zeh Baal Erva, vice versa, the Pashtus Advarim, the Ram doesn't say that you have to know Mi Harag, or al derech zeh Mi Baal. Halacha hey, hachakiras v'hadrishis hein advarim shehein ikar ha'edus. Ubehen yischayev eyi potter, and vehein, these things are kavonas ha'maisa shenasa, there's what did he actually do, and also v'kivan hazman, v'kivan hamokim, and also when did he do it, and where did he do it. There's what did he do, when did he do it, and where did he do it. Now why is it important to know when did he do it and where did he do it? Shebehen yuzmo edim alei yuzmo. Only if you know, only if the part of the Eidus is when he did it and where he did it, so then it's possible hazoma. The only way that there should be hazom is only if the Eidim establish where it happened and when it happened. So the Chikiras, the Rambam says, Hein hadvarim shein ikar Eidus. The question is, what does the Rambam want with those words? Hein hadvarim shein ikar Eidus. So the Rambam is a big Chikira in Achreinim, in the Sivis, in the Chemda Shleima, Benegea. The din is that you have to have Chikiras udrishas. The Pale will learn the Hemshech that by the Rabbanon instituted that B'emes Minatera you need to have Chikiras udrishas also by Dinim Amnes, not only by Dinim Nefarshas, also by Dinim Amnes. But the Pale, with Rabbanon, you don't need Chikiras udrishas by Dinim Amnes. The Shaila is Eidus without a Chikira udrisha is like, wasn't the Eidus? Was it Pshat? Does it have a din Eidus? Is the Pshat is B'emes the Eidus, the fact that he said Haggadas Eidus, that's considered Eidus Minatera. And then there's another Chiyuv Minatera that the Bezin is supposed to be Cheker V'Derish, and Lepel, if the Bezin wasn't Cheker V'Derish, felt in the Eidus. No, fakert. There's a way, one way of looking at it, saying it, there's a Chiyuv to say, is this Eidus? The Eidus you said was Esir Eidus. Whether they made Chikiro Drisha, you said your Eidus. The Eidus said his Eidus. Elamai, there's a Chiyuv on Bezin to make Chikiro V'Drisha. The Chacham came along and said, Bezin doesn't make Chikiro V'Drisha, but Lepel, the Eidus was a Haggadas Eidus Minatera. Or no, without Chikiro Drisha, there was no real Haggadas Eidus Minatera, and the whole Geder that is called Haggadas Eidus is only the Rabbanon. So that's a big Chikira in Achreinim. When you get this Nekuda, whether or not Chikiro Drisha is a din in the Eidus itself, it's a din part of the Eidus itself, or no, it's a din in, it's not a din in the Eidus itself, it's a din in Bezin. The Eidus you said was Haggadas Eidus. And Lepel, even there was no Chikiro Drisha, was Haggadas Eidus. So some want to be medayik that's Lashon Rambam. Chikiras v'adrisha le'madvarim shem ikar Eidus. That the pshat is that that's the ikar Eidus. If you don't have Chikiro Drisha, it's clear there wasn't Eidus. I mean, it's not the mukhrich hadvarim, but I'm saying that there's a clear about it in the Gedei Achreinim. Halacha Vav. So besides the Chikiras and Drishas, is v'oid mar ben livdei k'zeidim b'dvarim she'enan ikar be'Eidus ve'ena Eidus tluya b'hem. And v'heima nekroim b'dikas. So besides the Chikiras, which was what happened and when and where it happened, there's such a thing called b'dikas. And v'chol amarbe b'dikas, if you marbe b'dikas, is hariza meshubach. That's not a hechrach, but lepel, if amarbe b'dikas hariza meshubach, what's the b'dikas? Ketzad in abdikas. Harei she'ida olav shaharak. They said Eidus about a person that he killed. Now v'nechkeru b'shevach kiddush shemaninu. And they were nechkeru already with the shevach kiddush b'chavanas hazman. Told him exactly what time it is, when it was Be'ez Shavua, Be'ez Shana, Be'ez Chedesh, Bekam B'Chedesh, and Be'ez Yeh B'Shabbos, and Be'ez Shah, and then the Kavanas HaMokim, where it happened. And then also V'Nidrshu B'Kavanas HaMaisa. They also were Nidrshu as far as Kavana HaMaisa, V'Kivnu HaKeli Shehargebe, and they said that the Keli that he killed him with. So now, Boitkin Oisun Oid, V'Emrim Lehem, Ma Hoya Loivish HaNereg Oya Herik. What kind of clothes was the Hoirig or the Nereg wearing? Because Muvonim, Ishchoirim. Afar ha'oretz shenereg Allah. The earth that he got killed on was love in the Yodam, was it white or red? Elu kiyetzvem, these type of questions, hein b'dikas. Maise she'omru eidim horge b'mokim pleini tachas atena, under a fig tree. Nubotko eidim v'omru lam teinim shalosh chedes hoyoy levonis. Those figs, you're saying it was under a fig trees. Was the figs on the fig tree white or black? Uktzin shel eisnat teinim. Aruchis hoyu eiktzoris. The stems, were they long stems or short stems? So there's chinas udrishas, which is essential, and that's clearly what it is, the time and place it happened, and what exactly happened. And then there's dikas, kinds of details of what happened, which is not essential in the story, but Bezdin is supposed to be marbeh b'dikas.